Hi everybody, this is Simon, and I wanted to say hello to everyone that comes to listen to When the Ancients Speak. I don't always know what I'm saying because I get confused sometimes, but I have been getting better now that I'm in Homeland, and sometimes I get a bit upset and they call me Windspot.
Oh,
but
yeah.
My real name is Simon,
yes.
Not W.P. I don't like being called Windspot, but I do whinge sometimes, and it's not my fault just because I have to whinge. Because sometimes they, trick me and make me try to, get upset. But I'm not going to get mad. I just don't know sometimes what to do. And then it just doesn't know to do. They're trying to take me down and make me watch that old movie. It was horrible. I couldn't stand that old movie.
Okay, Simon, calm down. People are listening to this. Calm down. Do you guys remember me telling you that sometimes when we get beings at Homeland, they've been damaged because usually when they're like this, they've been through something. Yes, you guys, I'm going to tell you, leave him alone. He's been tortured. Can you show some compassion?
Yeah, really. Come on, guys.
Come on.
I mean, we bust on Windspot sometimes, but he's in the process of healing just the way Vlad was. You know, when Vlad first came to us, he could barely speak. And the only thing he could say would be forklift, and it was, because that's what he remembered in a past life. But as he regained his stature and wits, there were other things that came along to also help him. Father has a conservatory in Homeland, and actually, Father is everywhere, but there are some areas that he can kind of focus on. And he will create what he calls one of his conservatories, but it could be actually any kind of building or castle or however it might be perceived depending on the beings that are looking at it and their perceptions of Father. Because, as they say, your perception becomes a form of reality. You've heard people say this before, perception is reality. For example, if you grew up in the forest and, your name was Tarzan and wolves raised you, you'd have a different perception of things than if, you grew up in the city and had to deal with all of this kind of world. So you see, there are differences. But also and ultimately, we are all here to do various forms of learning and in some cases, healing, depending on your point of view and where you're at and what dimension you're on, because you can actually interconnect with different dimensions. As you achieve a higher dimensional state, you can always look over your shoulder back down to lower dimensions, and there are parts of you that can sort of reconnect with that. Which is why right now on the third dimension, ahead of you somewhere is what we call your primal soul. And your primal soul is looking down at you going, you freaking idiot. I will need you to learn this because it will make me better because I can only go as far as the anchor chain will let me go. And guess what, baby? Many of you are the anchor. And that's why you're there. You have been cast out. The parts that your soul has problems and issues with or doesn't like or is sending on a mission can be cast out of your body and will then be reconnected through what we call an astral cord, right?
Yes.
Now, everyone knows about astral projection, okay? This is a little bit different. We're saying that this is a form of inverted astral projection where you cast out one of the slices of your soul to go out and inhabit another part of either your timeline or another dimension, depending on your level of understanding and training that Father will give to some of you, and others will simply learn over the course of time. That's why we have all these powerful beings, people, because they can send their versions of avatars of themselves all across the multiverse, and the wiser and more capable you are, the more of these you can do. That's why some of these beings have been alive for 50, 60, 80, 100, 200, 500,000 years, a million, and some even a billion years or older. the real intelligences of the galaxies, of the multiverses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very interesting. Once you understand those, we'll call them avatars of yourself. You know, for a long time, people thought they were channeling different being here, different being there.
Yeah, it was sometimes you were talking to yourself.
You were talking to one of your avatars. Did anyone consider this? Because it's become more and more clear that the beings that I actually channel are directly who my avatars once were.
Or are a combination thereof. Remember our last little speech about how you can blend your mind with others and sort of create this hive mind thing? Now remember, the bad guys are doing this inverted.
Yes,
okay?
They are.
They're trying to create a series of hive minds that connect to them. That's why they go through all the trouble to create these visual channels, television, all these other things, because when you start to believe in them, they gain that energy, and they can use it to form other things, other constructs, right? That's why you have to really be careful who you give your attention to. I've tried to tell you this before, but you just wouldn't listen. Now you will, because it's all coming down to the end.
Yeah.
I thought too bad. Stephen, go for a moron.
As the energy continues to shift.
Blow it out your ass. Oh, sorry. Please, Victoria, continue.
As the energy continues to shift from the third to the fifth, what's happening is some of these darker entities. Now, somebody asked me about this. The darker entities can't handle this energy, and it's sending them insane. And you only need look at our leaders like Mr. Canada himself to see how insane and cowardly he's become. They are being driven away, and so you guys just keep it going. It's great to hear from. Hello? Hey, who's that? You want to talk?
I don't know who that is.
Who was that?
I think it looked like Elizabeth. A little bit. Like she just sort of glanced around and then blinked her eyes and left. And I don't know. I think she was going to say something. But then she realized we were doing a recording. Elizabeth, you could talk if you want.
Lizzie.
But, she's very, very powerful and very, very private. And wanted to speak to her, shall we say, mother? Can we say that?
Yeah, Lizzie's my daughter. Mm-hmm.
That's a whole other story, folks. But we got to leave it at that. We're getting hand signals over there from Ryan like, hey, listen, you might want to leave that one alone.
Oh, but, it's well accepted.
It's...
Once you know who
we're allowed to talk of her, but not about her.
Right.
That she does exist, and just think of it as a sister, a daughter, a cousin, someone in your family like that. That's the best way to
If you can look at who you really are and how old you may be, then it's not so far from that thinking.
And you have family out there.
You have family.
All of you do.
And they remember you because they know your soul. They know your higher self. So of course they're going to reconnect with you.
And it's interesting because some of them will reconnect with a lesser version of you because they like the lesser version of you better. Did you ever understand that? This is how some people become involved in channeling, because there is an aspect, as Michael would tell you, in channeling, that it's not even really channeling. You're just talking to yourself in some ways, but in a other dimensional aspect.
Yes.
You're further along than you think, many of you.
Yes.
You are just one aspect of who you are. This is why it gets so confusing, because none of you were taught this when you grew up. This is common knowledge in the galaxy. This isn't anything that's like, oh my goodness, you know that you have avatars out there? Oh, you must be crazy. And it's like, no, this is standard 101. The smallest Martian child was taught this at the tender age of, say, 5. Okay? Yeah, I mean, this is what we're trying to tell you. That this was part of your birthright. They didn't tell you anything. They created a whole world with all of its own rules that you have to abide by. That way it's a prison, because they can control all the rules inside of that matrix.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't even know about it, well, then you don't have to question it. If nobody teaches you how to swim, do you learn how to swim? Swimming is something that you must be taught, but yet you have learned it over and over and over and over again. If you're a human being and have been anywhere, where there's a pool of water, yes, at some point you were a master swimmer as well.
Yeah.
Well, is it fair that you have to relearn these things every time you experience a life? Not very fair, is it?
Yeah, so imagine.
Imagine who you know, who you've connected with, the lives that you lived. Yes, right. Eridil's correct on this one.
Mm-hmm. You have probably lived thousands and thousands of lifetimes. So in one of those lifetimes, is it really hard for you to fathom that there are those who remember you as their mother? And
they are watching you.
Yes.
And they at some point are desperate to contact you because they're like, gosh, I wish... think of it this way. Think of somebody you love dearly, and they decide they're going back to college. And they just disappear from your life, and they're off somewhere in another state going to college, and that's where their life is at that time. And their experiences... And you're like, well, geez, I really miss them. I wonder if I can go see them. But no, the college is on COVID lockdown. You can't go in there. They won't let you because of all of this stuff. And then you as a family member, maybe you find a way to contact them. You'll give them a call, right? Well, it doesn't quite work that way, but the souls can contact other souls. And as the energy level rises on this planet, you want to go get your lovers back, your kids back, your friends back. You're like, where are they? I miss them. And believe me, it's starting to happen. Families are reconnecting all over the globe because a lot of the beings that are here are your families.
Yes.
Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
How can you not understand this? How can people not get this, Eridil? I don't get it.
I don't know. Because for me, it's just natural to accept them. They're my family. And I know that they know me. A lot of the beings that are at Homeland know me from other lifetimes. Okay? It's not just this one. They remember me in other lifetimes.
And it creates these intricate
it's beautiful.
and wonderful friendships that most people would never even imagine. Like, I don't have any divine beings out there waiting for me. Oh, yeah, you do. You're a creator God. Remember, you were sent here. This is one of the highest tuitions in the multiverse. Somebody paid the bill for you to be here, baby. Let me tell you. And not all of you were just... you see, it was the reptilians that brought along all the prisoners, right?
Of course.
And then when they made sure that you had to keep reliving lives, not all of you have been here for all this time. Some of you have been injected from other realities or other matrices that have collapsed, and then you've been moved into this because there are other prisoner matrices out there.
Yes, there are.
And they just rotate the souls through them. Okay, now you're going to live on this ash world for the next million years, and we'll collect, we'll see if you can earn your way up to a little bit nicer reality. Okay, those of you that cooperate, we're going to move you over here. Now you got cars and Starbucks and everything. Okay, see, aren't we wonderful overlords? We'll give you at least that, right? And,
yeah.
Aren't they wonderful? Oh, what? Bliss? Peace? Prosperity? Oh, no. Wait a minute. We're losing control of the Matrix here. Oh, looks like the other guys are tuning in the Matrix to make it a good one. That's what's coming. But then again, there's going to be other levels of smaller matrices inside of the larger ones. So that's why you're going to have different levels of dimensions to separate them.
Wow. That was a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Just keep your eye on some of the postings. I've put them up on Telegram. Blue Water. There are always code messages in her videos. You guys should inform yourselves about those too. Very nice, Vlad.
That's Vlad. He's like an operatic singer, kind of. and he does different soliloquies where he sort of sings and makes up songs on the spot. We should record more of them.
Oh,
Some of them are pretty
used to
good.
sing together a lot.
Yeah, that was neat.
And then he became a father.
Hey, don't remind me. Year one is the most amazing thing. After that, those little vermin can go screw themselves. That's giving me nothing but trouble. It's a lot different when you're a spirit and you have connections and, well, other spirit beings want to play the role of, your children, but then that's an experience they learn from, because then they get partially mind wiped and they have to go through this process. But you see, they eventually get all their memories back because they just wanted to accrue another experience. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how that works, since people ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, shut up, lad.
See, when you're in the dimension, you can inhabit any. Like I create a construct because I work with these guys in the fourth dimension all the time.
Get into killing.
So I'll create a construct. For instance, when Vlad's daughters were really small, we made ponies. We made ponies. And so these ponies are bred, and other spirits inhabit the construct.
Hey, my little pony, my little pony. Okay, sorry.
Haha.
That's not funny. That's used in some of them pedo rings.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I got the kitty down here. They're just pet the kitty. Nice kitty. Mm-hmm. Oh, nice kitty. Mm-hmm. I will put you down now because you have sharp claws.
And she has...
They got a time limit on that one.
Oh, a time
Especially
limit.
you guys. These idiots. Poor Michael. Michael tries really hard to have a nice relationship with this cat, but sometimes some of the neutrals come out, and every now and then they sort of torment the cat a little bit. Nothing serious, but like maybe, just hold her a little bit too long or something, or pet her a little bit harder than they should. Some of them are childlike, and they're still learning, and some of them are just a-holes. They can be really be jerks, some of them. They really can. But they're in the process of learning too and growing. Many of which have happened here in Homeland. It's some beautiful beings that we found recently, especially some of the imps are just amazing souls. Mm-hmm. They really are. It's amazing once you turn your life over to Father and you give your heart and your mind and your soul. It's beautiful.
People believe that there's no redemption, that you go to hell. That's not the way Father operates. And if he knows that deep in your that's not what you want to be, he brings out the best in that being. A lot of these things that live at Homeland, like the Damon brothers, they all used to be badasses once. And the imps, but you see, Father's redeemed all of them. And they're not the same anymore. They're amazing, wonderful beings. They really are. So yeah, there's room for change in everything.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, everybody. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.